podcast by Stephen and Jess. Stories by Fly in the Nest. The little podcast by Stephen and Jess's story. I can't believe that we didn't stay up for New Year's Eve. We just fell straight asleep. I suppose we are new parents.
I was in bed by 10 and it was beautiful.
Best way to spend New Year's Eve.
Can you believe it? First podcast of 2021.
Yes. No, I can't believe it. Wow, 2020, what a year. I think a lot of people are kind of happy for 2020 to be behind us.
I was ready for all those memes to come out, when everyone was waiting for 2020 to be over.
Yes.
And 2021, it's going good so far, right?
I think it is actually going quite good so far.
We're only a couple of days in, but so far so good.
But speaking of 2020, how good was Christmas? I mean...
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I know we haven't chatted since Christmas.
The
and
food. Oh.
It was the first time I ever hosted Christmas. And let's just say, I put on a feast.
She did.
Yeah, you did.
You did so good.
Oh, thank
you.
you.
And the photos were amazing. It was like a little Instagram feast.
I know, they photographed so well the food.
Yeah, that was so good.
I was impressed. I know, I kept showing people. I'm like, look at the food I made. Because I'd never cooked for that many people before.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, we had, first hosting of the Christmas. You and Jake were in the kitchen. Hunter's first Christmas.
Oh, my gosh.
She seemed to have loved it.
Yeah, she did.
Having a baby, it makes Christmas just like all magical again.
Yeah,
like seeing her waking up in the morning. That's what I'm thinking. If it's amazing with a 6-month-old, imagine when Hunter's like 3.
It's going to be really so much fun.
Like her understanding like the magic of Christmas.
Yeah,
because Ashley and Heidi were saying that Hugo understood Christmas this year.
This year,
he's 3 years old,
and they said it was like
so much fun.
Yeah, they said it was so magical, and I was like, oh, that's going to be cute with Hunter.
Because I feel like next year she's probably going to enjoy opening presents, but I think it'll just be that. But the whole magic, I think, when she's 3 years old.
Well, what's weird is that this time next year she'll be walking.
Wow,
like how weird is that?
Yeah.
Well, she should be walking by around her first birthday, so she would have been walking since June.
Oh my gosh,
it's like I can't picture it. Like this year we're carrying her out to the tree.
Yeah,
next year she'll be jumping out of her bed and waddling over to the tree.
I was actually showing a video to my friends and of her at the beach, and they're like, "Oh, how old is she?" I was like, "Oh yeah, 6 months around," and they're like, "No way."
Yeah, I know.
What?
I know.
I
She's
didn't
so
realize
big.
because I don't realize but I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty big, isn't it?"
She's a big baby, and also I think because she has so much hair, that's another thing that throws it off.
Yeah. No, they just said she's like well developed.
Yeah, and also she learnt to sit since 5 months, so it's a little bit early, so it makes her look like she's older. She's chunky, long hair, and can sit. So people are always surprised by her age.
Yeah.
But we celebrated on the 2nd of January. She turned 7 months old.
Oh my gosh.
I know, we're already up into the second
crazy.
half.
I thought she was like 5.5, and I was like, "Oh, it's 7 now."
Yeah,
Oh
7
my
months
gosh.
old, and she's just starting to crawl.
Oh.
You haven't seen it
No,
yet, Cleo.
I haven't.
She goes up on her knees and her hands, and she kind of rocks back and forth, trying to go forward, but she doesn't realise she needs to actually move her arms.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Can't wait.
Oh my gosh, you actually need to put in a little clip of a video because it is audio as well. Another thing she's been doing is if you put your hand to her mouth and what she'll go, and then you stop, and then she'll be like, wait, come on, do it again, and go until you do it. It's so cute. Pop that in, Steve.
I'll have to pop it in. But anyway, welcome back to your favorite travel podcast, the travel podcast that can't travel right now. This is Stories from Fly in the Nest. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen, with my beautiful wife, Jessica.
Hello.
And my sister, Cleo.
Hello.
Seeing as it is 2021, I think this episode should be dedicated to kind of recapping 2020, looking at some of the highlights, because, of course, in the history books, 2020 itself is probably not going to go down too well, but it's always good to kind of look at the highs of the year. And then we're thinking of looking towards 2021. What are our goals? What are our ambitions for the year? And, we also asked you guys over on flyingthenest.tv/podcast, where you can send in your questions. And we also asked you guys what your ambitions are as well, so we can kind of hear as a little collective community what your kind of plans, what your goals are, so maybe we can inspire some people. But before we jump in, I need some sugar.
Yeah,
I need my Bundaberg.
This is my favourite part of the podcast.
I feel like you haven't seen this flavour. Oh, have you like it?
It's a lemon one?
No. A different one
We had
every
lemonade
episode,
already.
Cleo.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, every episode different flavour.
I know, but then
Remember
I
when
saw
it's
that and
like-
it looked like the lemon. I was like, okay, we're just going back to the old ones.
Literally, I was
No.
not surprised if you were like, oh, we're doing a new flavour every episode. 'cause,
I'm
yeah.
7 episodes in, didn't know that was a thing yet.
So we have
I listen, okay?
we have pineapple and coconut.
Oh,
I know. I've never tried it before. We thought it was a little bit of like a
Yeah.
celebration-y kind of flavour,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah, it
pina
is.
colada.
Yeah, pina colada-ish.
Yeah.
We'll see if we like it.
Yep, jump that one in.
All right, let's do a little pop here.
Yeah.
One.
Wait,
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
sorry.
wait,
All
wait.
popped together. Oh, you two remembered.
Yes.
They did tell us to turn it upside down
Okay.
and then back.
we
And
get to
now
see
we
it
do the
all.
pop.
So I wonder
Ready?
why it
We have
doesn't
to say-
explode.
We have to say Happy New Year as
Okay.
we pop
Okay,
it.
ready?
1, 2,
2,
3.
Happy New
Happy
Year!
New Year! That's our
Yes.
New Year's together.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to a
To
amazing year.
Yes.
Hopefully we can look back on this podcast and we're like, yes, 2021 was a good year.
Yeah.
Also, what are you guys drinking?
Ooh. It tastes like a non-alcoholic Malibu mixed with
Oh, it
pineapple.
does.
Yes, it
yeah.
does. I like
Oh,
it.
cheers, everyone.
It's
a little bit
nice.
tropical.
This is a good way. Hopefully we can see some tropics this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know when we can go traveling again.
Hey, Queensland is the tropics, just saying.
Yes, it is. Yeah, with your parents.
Tropics in our own backyard.
Yes.
The weather at the moment is pretty tropic.
Oh, the weather has been amazing.
It's
It's
been
very
so
hot.
nice,
But
yeah.
so,
I like it hot.
Gosh,
I love
I
it.
love it. It's been like no cloud in the sky. It's been amazing.
It's funny because we have a lot of Americans that listen and watch. And,
And
they're
probably
kind
just
of
think it's
thinking,
so
It's
weird.
really cold there, hey? Snowing.
Yeah, it's snowing.
Mm.
And even when people were watching our Christmas video, they were like, it's so weird. It's ending with Hunter in a pool in Christmas swimmers swimming around.
Yeah.
A little bit of housekeeping on the weekend. So a few days ago, I put out a 2020 recap video, a little review where we walk through everything that we went through on the year. It was so much fun to put together. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, link it below or go check it out on our YouTube channel.
But Stephen's been putting those together every year. And I love that you do because it is so nice, especially seeing as it's like our past.
Yeah.
It's so cool getting to watch back
Yeah.
everything we've done in one little video.
Yeah, they're my favourite.
Yeah.
And I suppose we put out, how many weeks are there in the year? 54 weeks?
52 weeks in
52
a
weeks,
Oh, that's
yep.
a bit embarrassing, Steve.
So, I mean, if you missed some videos, which is totally understandable, there's a lot of videos out there. This one kind of recaps it so you can see if there's anything you missed. But honestly, speaking of 2020, let's just go through a couple of things we did throughout the year. So,
Okay. Well, it's a little walk down memory lane.
in January of 2020, there was definitely rumbles of COVID, but I don't think it was...
It was like talked about in the air and we were all thinking, what? No, that's not going to go anywhere.
Yes, I think it was very much like in China at that region, and maybe it was starting to spread a little bit. So we were in Canada. We were in, Kitimat, celebrating, bringing in the new year.
Telling everyone the gender. Remember, we set off
Wow.
fireworks, so that's a whole year ago.
Yeah, when I saw the start of it, and I was like, "Well, yeah, I just can't remember you guys being there at the
Yeah,
start."
Yeah.
It was a whole year ago. And then we did a
Yeah.
little road trip through the Canadian Rockies, which was
Yeah.
really fun. And we flew back to Australia because we needed to tell your parents, your family, your sisters and brothers.
About it, we were having a baby girl.
Yeah.
And then remember how we told you, Cleo?
Yeah, but
We had the little smoke bombs
Yeah, the
and it
smoke
didn't
bomb.
work at all.
I know, and everyone else knew the gender. I was like, I can't wait. No one tell me.
Cleo was the first to find out that we were
Yeah.
pregnant and the last to find out her gender
Were you
before
the
all of you
last?
guys.
Yeah, I was the last.
Yeah, she had to wait till we got back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, so it was still January, I believe. So we decided to go to Fiji. Like, it was still very normal to keep traveling back then.
And we decided I wanted to go on like a baby moon, the last trip before Hunter came. And I thought, where's a good place to go? Fiji. And it was an amazing place. If anyone is looking
Yeah.
for a place to go on a baby moon, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. It was so relaxing. We
Photos.
stayed on a little private
Yeah.
island. We stayed at some nice resorts, which was really cool. And then we wanted to actually go to, what was Bora Bora? But it was too
We
expensive.
wanted to, yeah. And it was like $4,000
really?
to fly there. I was
that-
like, just to fly there.
That's expensive.
So
expensive.
expensive. I mean, I could
gosh.
get a round the world ticket for that price. So we didn't go to Bora Bora. We were like, nah. Instead, it was like $200 to fly back to
Yeah.
Queensland.
You'll go there one day, but
Hopefully one
That would
day.
be so cool. So we went back, did a little road trip through the Glasshouse Mountains, drove past the Australia Zoo, which is Steve Irwin's zoo as well. So that's the kind of like, that's the
area we were in.
Yes.
We went, hello, where did we go that was more exciting than
yeah.
Steve
We
Irwin's
went to
zoo?
Bundaberg.
We did. We went to the factory, tasted every single Bundaberg.
Yeah, that was so good. And then we decided to do our final international trip of the year, which at that time, I don't think we were thinking this would be our final international trip.
No way.
Yeah, so we went to Hawaii, which was the very first spot when we started flying the nest. And we went to Kauai, Big Island, and Oahu. And I loved that trip. It was really nice. I think the whole time we were just sitting here. And of course, me and Jess have been thankful enough to travel so much, but we were like so ready for Hunter. We're like, this is, we weren't saying this is boring, but we're like, having Hunter would make this so much better.
Like we kept saying, oh my gosh, imagine if we had Hunter here, exploring Hawaii with her.
Yeah, because you've lived through it, and then you can live through her eyes and show her everything.
Exactly.
And just see her experience it. That'd be cool.
It'd be so cool the first time she sees like a waterfall.
Yeah.
Like there's so many firsts for her. Like
she
hasn't
hasn't seen an animal really. She's seen a dog.
Yeah.
And she wasn't that interested. But
no.
Maybe as she gets older, she'll be like, this looks cool.
That's like cool. Like there's so many things she hasn't even experienced yet.
Has she seen Princess?
No, she's not seen a cat before.
Oh, yeah. We need to introduce her.
I don't think Princess would be too impressed, to be honest. No, she'd be like, no, thank you. She hasn't even seen Shrek the movie. I mean, that's way more important than if she's
Harry
met our
Potter?
cat.
Oh, I'm actually kind of jealous.
Watch that again.
And she gets to experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
We get to read her the books. I mean, maybe when she's a bit older because it's a bit scary.
Yeah. But imagine that she gets to experience that for the first time.
Also, she lives in a time, like when we read Harry Potter in the 90s, it was all our imagination because then the movies came out. But imagine Hunter, we could read her the book, we could show her the movies, we can take her to freaking Hogwarts and she can like be fully taken in with it. Yeah.
Didn't even think that.
Kids don't need imaginations these days. Just everything's there.
You can live it.
Anyway, it is now March. So maybe Fiji was February. So in March we flew home and the pandemic was definitely ramping up. We had a trip to Dubai booked.
We did, and that was actually when we never talked about this on the vlogs.
Oh, yeah.
We were umming and ahhing if we should go to Dubai.
Yeah,
and then
I
I kept going to Stephen, like, I'm pregnant. There's actually this COVID thing going around. Do you really think we should go to Dubai? And he was like, oh, what do you want to do instead? Because we knew that we didn't have a house at that time, so we weren't ready to move in anywhere. We had all this time, and I was like, why not? Instead, we'll stay in Australia where I felt more safe, hire a camper van. I was 30 weeks pregnant and we went on a big 10-day road trip with my big belly.
So much fun. Yeah, you were 30 weeks pregnant. You climbed mountains. You went on beaches. It was really fun. Yeah. So after that was the last trip. Like, we have been home and we moved into our house, which was so exciting.
That is a
big
huge
milestone.
thing for us, 2020. So we bought a house.
I mean, over the last 5 years, we've kind of lived out of hotel rooms, planes, trains. We've never really had a space bigger than this room we're currently in. I mean, of course, sometimes we'd have like some nice hotel rooms, which are a bit bigger, but nothing that was ours. Like everything that we owned was either in a box or in that little cupboard. So it felt really special. It was really cool to have our own little place.
And that was the funnest time when we moved in and we're opening up all our boxes.
Yeah, and I loved it because I get to see you guys more.
Yeah,
That is true.
I actually
So it's
remember
kind of a positive for me, but yeah.
remember when I told you that I was pregnant and the first thing you said was, yay, it means we get to hang out more. Like, you're going to be home.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you got us
It was
for a
so
whole
good.
year.
I know.
You sick of us yet?
Nice. Nah.
Oh, yay. And then we kind of did some renovations around the house. We painted a orange wall white.
We did, and we got the nursery ready.
Yeah, that was really fun. Built a lot of IKEA furniture. April, we kind of took it a little bit easier. So we celebrated Easter. I think we watched, what was that Tiger King show?
Oh my gosh, because this is when isolation basically happened. So we didn't ever have lockdown or anything in Perth, but we did isolate. So they broke up the state into like 10 different regions or something, remember? And we couldn't really leave the city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like
so
we couldn't drive an hour outside of Perth. They locked. They're like, we had such like not a lockdown, but very kind of smart the way they did it.
Yeah,
We
but
all
I
had to
remember
stay in
that
one
time
place.
because it was that time where when you left the house, you instantly felt like your hands were dirty.
Yeah.
And all you wanted to do was wash your hands.
All you wanted to do, and you wouldn't go near anybody.
No.
And
I know.
if you coughed, we would all judge you.
You had to be like, oh, I've got it like a sneeze. You had to make sure everyone knew around you it wasn't COVID.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I've got hay fever. That's all.
Nobody cared, but you deep down. And I even remember like just walking down to try and find toilet paper, and then if someone was in your way, you get like a little bit frustrated because like I need to be my 1.5 meters away from you. So that's kind of when we almost slowed down a lot. Like I think we enjoyed some quality time together, just relaxing because the house was renovated. The IKEA furniture was built. There was nothing to do except for wait.
And we didn't see you.
No.
Remember, we isolated in our house. So
Yeah.
you got to see the house when we moved in, and then once isolation happened, you didn't get to see any of the renovations, any of the furniture. No. So you were just waiting until it lifted.
Yeah, because we kind of did a little personal, because there wasn't any rules. You didn't have to isolate, but
you couldn't go in groups.
Yeah.
That's why I had to cancel my baby shower, remember?
And then in May.
And there was a risk to you getting
Yeah, there was a risk because I was pregnant, so I was like, I'd prefer just to not.
And I was still going to work.
Yes, because you were a
yeah.
What do they call them?
Barista.
No, the essential worker.
Yeah.
Because you made food and stuff like
so
that.
Cleo's essential.
She was
I was
essential.
the only one working. It was so strange.
Yes.
I had to do the orders. And I had to make sure everyone was, like.
And was it just takeaways?
Yeah, just takeaways. Yeah, and
there was a lot of Uber Eats and stuff.
Yeah, so much. Yeah, I was actually quite busy. I was like.
Because everyone's at home not wanting to cook. They're like,
Yeah.
what they said? They were helping supporting the local
Yes,
restaurant.
Community, Coffee Club is a locally owned company.
Yeah,
It's a big corporation.
Right?
So we didn't really see Cleo, but in May, because Western Australia was so thankful, we kind of locked down COVID quite quickly, which meant just 2 short months after we kind of did our little self-isolation, restrictions were lifting. I was so surprised.
And we actually haven't had any community transmission in Western Australia ever since.
Yes.
So I think we've gone 8 months now without anyone catching COVID in Western Australia, which is so cool. We're so thankful.
Yeah, sometimes we can put our videos out there, and rather than explaining every single time that, there isn't really COVID in Western Australia, you can see the odd person that kind of comes into the videos and out because they're like, why are you guys not wearing masks? Because, of course, it's very different.
It's a bit different than in other areas.
Yes.
So that's why we don't wear masks. It's not mandatory because there really isn't COVID here in Western
Australia.
Yeah. So because the restrictions were lifting, before we get to the restrictions lifting, I threw Jess a little surprise quarantine birthday.
I did. He gave me a T-shirt that says,
Happy quarantine.
Happy quarantine birthday or something.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I do.
Cute.
Because you couldn't come to the birthday. No one could come to the
No,
birthday.
he cooked me dinner, just him and I.
Yeah, it was actually
sweet.
really nice.
Yeah.
And then restrictions lifted and I could throw you your dream surprise baby shower.
It was very sweet. I cried a lot.
A lot of crying. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then did anything big happen in June, Jessica?
Let me think about that. Oh, I just gave birth to a very cute little baby. So baby Hunter came into the world 2nd of June, and that's why 2020 is so special for us, because how can that not be one of your favourite years?
Yeah.
The year that you had your first child.
Exactly.
And we've kind of struck gold with this one. She's a cutie. She's
a
like
sweetie.
She's so cute.
her
So
temperament.
happy.
Yeah, so happy.
So chill, giggly.
She's just the happiest little baby. I expect all babies to be like that.
No, we're not even expecting our second baby to be
No,
like
we
that,
were like,
yeah.
when we have a second baby, now everyone's going to think I'm pregnant. But when we do in the future have a second baby, we're ready for the worst just because we struck gold with Hunter.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon, guys. I know a million questions of that will come through. So, of course, because restrictions had lifted, Cleo could come and meet our baby as well as my family and all my brothers and sisters and friends. But unfortunately, restrictions were still lifted with travel, which meant your parents could only meet Hunter over FaceTime.
Yeah, my brother and my sister. So basically none of my family could meet her.
Yes. So June, I don't even remember June because it was
June
the lack
was a
of
blur
sleep.
of a newborn. It's like waking up every 3 hours to feed her and just enjoying every moment, but being very sleepy. Yeah. That was June.
July, we kind of got used to Hunter a little bit and we decided to do a road trip with you. We went down south to Bunker Bay.
That was so fancy. I loved it.
Yes.
And the moment you driving down with the buggy and then you just got Hunter in your arm, I was like, she's actually here. Like, this is insane. Yeah.
And remember then she was so sleepy.
Yeah.
So for like 3 days straight, all Hunter did was sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Yeah. And it was so good though because we were in an area where there was wineries.
Yeah.
So we would like just jump to all these different places as she slept in the car, and then I'll take her out, she'll sleep in my arms, go back, sleep.
She's so good.
So good. So that was like the main highlight. We also got her a little passport, which was really cute.
Very cute. And her passport photo.
That's a little gremlin.
Yeah, a little gremlin.
August came by and Hunter turned 2 months, which was crazy. That first 2 months went so quickly. And I think we realized it because we started to do the little 2-month updates on our YouTube channel. And I'm glad we do those because then you realize just how quick they grow.
And everyone always told me, enjoy the newborn stage because it doesn't last long. And they're so right.
Yeah.
Like the other day I went and watched back her 2-month update and her 4-month update. And I was like, oh my gosh, even watching her 4-month, I'm like, she looks different.
So different. You could do like, you should do those videos when she's like that so young and then now.
Yeah,
and
because
it's like,
she looks so different. Everyone keeps asking me actually when we're going to do the 6-month update video.
Yeah.
And that's going to come out in 2 weeks.
Should.
Yes.
So we're going to do another big update because she has changed a lot. In that video, she couldn't even sit. And now she's like starting to crawl a couple of months later. It's crazy.
So August came by and we went on our very first flight because, of course, like we were saying, COVID really isn't in Western Australia, so we could still fly in like within our state. And we went up to Broome.
We did. It's only 2 hours north and it was quite cold then, remember, in Perth? Mm-hmm. But Broome is lovely. It was like 30 degrees every day. That's why we decided to go up. Yeah. And oh my gosh. And it was so cute seeing Hunter. Like she was lounging by the pool as Stephen's having a cocktail and she has her little drink.
Yeah, I loved how you like said it. Like just on her little cocktail by the pool on vacay.
It's so cute. And it's so funny because I remember when we travelled with her back then, I thought she looked so big.
Yeah.
And then I looked back and I'm like, she was just this little tiny baby.
Aww.
September was Father's Day, so you got to do a little Father's Day for me.
Stephen had his first Father's Day. I still haven't experienced a Mother's Day.
Yeah, because you missed out by a week, 2 weeks.
We did 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. So she'll almost be 1 when I have my Mother's Day.
That'll be cute.
So she better bake me all the treats.
Yes, she will. We'll have something planned, don't worry. Oh, yeah, we will probably be in the van.
We'll celebrate Mother's Day in the van.
Yeah,
that's cool.
that is cool.
Breakfast in bed in the van, please.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to surprise you.
You'll work out a way.
Yeah.
October was my 30th.
Yeah, another big 30.
Big 30. Jess surprised me with a little caravan.
Yeah.
Drove to Exmouth.
And swam with humpbacks, which is a big thing you did this year as well.
Yeah, like you did it a week after me, I think.
Yeah, it's like a big bucket list thing we've ticked off.
I loved it. It was like amazing. I like cried in the water.
Yeah.
Because it's so in your face, the humpbacks. They're
Yeah.
so big. And I think maybe the goggles magnify things, so it just looks extra big in your face.
I think so, yeah. It was like amazing. There's huge creatures just like meters away. Well, 37 centimeters for Steve.
I know, I almost got hit. That was a bit scary.
Yeah.
I think if someone sent in a question, said, have you had any like near-death experiences?
Probably that humpback whale almost took us out.
Yeah.
And also on that trip, it was baby Hunter's first time on a boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is
she
kind of
was
cool.
so fun.
Yeah, loved it.
I think because the engine just was like, oh, this is my white noise in my bedroom.
And it was
So
like rocking her to sleep, so she kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, which was really cool.
It's not going to be the same when she's crawling.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't crawl off the boat.
No.
November was massive. We bought a van. We did this because we don't know when international travel is going to open, so let's convert a van into a caravan and drive around Australia. Yeah, so that was pretty fun. And December, we put up the Christmas tree, which technically we did in November.
I was going to say we did not do that in December. We did that pretty much on the 1st of November.
We did because it was our anniversary. Wait, isn't our anniversary 30th of October? Did we put it up in October?
No, 1st
No, we didn't
November.
because Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And also restrictions way lifted and the borders opened.
So we were able to finally fly all the way to Queensland and baby Hunter got to meet my family, which was amazing, just before she turned 6 months, which was my goal. I was hoping, please, can the restrictions open before she turned 6 months? And they met her like 2 days before she turned it.
Oh, that's so good.
And like two sides of that coin is one, it's crazy that Hunter took 6 months before she could meet her grandparents. But on the other side, there's probably still people around the world that haven't met their grandchildren. So definitely thankful on where we live.
And my heart goes out to them because I know how it feels and it's so hard. And I was even thinking for the people that just say had a baby back in March and they're still, because there's some countries that are still isolating now. Imagine having a 7-month-old and still you've been, that baby and you have been like in isolation for months. My heart goes out to those people. It must be so hard. Yeah.
Definitely. And then December 25th happened. Hunter had
Great
a first
day.
Christmas. Highlight of the year.
Highlight of the year for sure.
But that was just a very quick recap of our 2020. Definitely, it's way more visual if you go and check out the video, which was really fun to put together.
But I want to hear from Cleo. What are some highlights that you had in 2020?
Well, only the one, really.
You sure? I bet you, if you really think
Really
about it,
thought
there's
about
lots
it.
of things that happened.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit easier for us because we can just look at the YouTube
You can,
videos.
Because
Yeah.
there's things I've totally forgot about. Like if someone said,
Yeah.
Hawaii, I'm like, oh my gosh, wasn't that in 2019? Like I forget.
My road trip with Rachel.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that. It was my first like girls trip, not with the family or with a partner.
Yeah.
And that was probably my highlight.
And that would have been a big thing for you too,
oh,
because it's
so-
a little bit more scary, you know? It's
Yeah.
just two girls traveling, and you
it's-
did that.
Yeah, and I always rely on my family.
Yeah.
So I couldn't rely on them now, but
It was a good like step to more independence, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of my goals for 2021.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and probably new job. What else? I don't know.
Because this year Cleo landed her dream job because she's
Yeah.
always wanted to work in like a beauty
situation.
realm.
Yeah.
And where did you? So she went from working as a barista for years
Yeah.
to
Clear skin.
Yeah,
It's
what
a
is
laser and skin therapist.
yes,
Yeah.
really cool.
It's like the stepping stones for just
Yeah.
like a career. Because
Yeah.
I suppose you kind of hit the glass ceiling at Coffee Club.
Yeah,
So you're
it's-
ready to go
dude.
somewhere where you can keep going.
Yeah, and it really brought me down. Always going to that job, and then now finally the job I want to be.
Yeah,
and having
doing something you like.
a public day off and getting paid for it.
I know,
Oh,
because
so
it's her first time having
nice.
like
Yeah.
a part-time job.
Yeah, I felt so good. I was like, wow, this feels really strange. I feel
You
like
got
I need to work.
Paid to have Christmas.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's my highlights. Yeah. I can't really remember.
And meeting baby Hunter.
Yeah, sorry, and baby
Oh,
Hunter.
why was that not
Oh
the
my
first thing on your
Gosh, I feel horrible. I'm so sorry.
And if you actually haven't watched the video
Yeah.
of Cleo meeting Hunter,
Oh, it was my favourite reaction.
Every time I watch it,
Yeah.
it makes me cry.
Oh
It
my
is
God, I
so
can't rewatch
sweet.
it. Yeah, that's all people comment on. It's like, you're the girl meeting the baby. And I'm
Yes.
like, yep.
Aw.
I think it's on 2 mil views. Yep, that's how I'm known.
It was such a good reaction, though.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that's the way we got you to meet her. Not
Yeah.
in the hospital.
Oh.
Meeting babies in hospitals is so awkward. It's
Yeah.
just like you kind of stand, you like got this little shower curtain between the other mum, and then you
Yeah,
just.
we wanted it to be extra special,
Yeah.
so we thought, wait till we get home.
No,
And I think,
I really liked it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good little. And I think our cousin did the same.
yeah, she did. She did the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's so nice. And another thing I think is Hunter gets to watch that back, like watch how much love there was for
Yeah.
her when she's only a few days old and everyone meeting her. Like, that's so special to have.
Yeah.
Because I have, of course, none of us have memories of our auntie, our cousins, our family, even like our parents meeting us.
And I'm sure they loved meeting you, but it's cool being able to like watch the love
Yeah.
that
Yes.
happened. Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's jump into some goals and ambitions for the year. Jessica, what are your goals and ambitions for 2021? Which is a bit of an interesting year because we don't know what's happening in 2021. I suppose it's hard to, say, I want to go traveling in March. You just know that probably won't be happening. So it's interesting. This is kind of the first year when you can have goals, but you could be a little bit cautious on them because there's a lot of events that could stop you from doing those goals. So I'm interested in yours.
Well, so Stephen told me today, he was like, oh, you need to think of what your goals are to share on the podcast. And it got me thinking that usually I feel like every year you'd write your goals, like just say for 2020, I was like, have a kid, buy a house. But then after living through 2020 and all the things that happened, you realize the type of goals that you really should have is like how much time you spend with people and were you present in moments that you experienced, because, you can get caught up in wanting to like reach these dreams where really, in the end of the day, when you're in your deathbed, are you really going to think like, oh, I'm so glad I went and... Am I explaining it right?
You're explaining it so well,
Like-
and you've just shut down all my goals and ambitions because they're like...
We have the
to do.
same thing. Oh,
No,
I'm so
mine
sorry.
was I did it completely.
I
But
just-
yours is way more nicer.
I think that's
way
what
like
2020 showed me, is that should I be worrying about these, like, of course it's nice to have goals and ambitions in life. Like, I
Yeah.
do think you need them. But when I'm dying on my deathbed, am I thinking about all these goals I hit? Or am I thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I spent all that time with Hunter or with Stephen doing all this quality time together? And 2020 really did force us to go and have quality time with the people we loved and appreciate it because we know what it feels like to be separated.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Too.
And I think 2020 definitely slowed everyone down.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't need to always be fast paced. You can just sit back and enjoy. You don't have to always be busy and doing something to feel like you have worth in life. I feel like having, I don't know, I'm very bad sometimes at explaining my feelings.
Done so well.
No, that was really good.
That's really
That's
good.
how I feel. And I think 2020 really showed me that. And I'm like, I just want to spend my time.
So you're saying
my
rather
loved
than like
ones.
the usual get fit, buy a house, all these things, which is good goals to have, you like, I'd rather have more...
Practice with my relationships with people,
Yeah.
my communication with people, and spending time with them.
But you're already so good at that because you do not go on your phone if you're with someone. You make sure you put that down at restaurants. Everything's away. Like, you definitely are really good at being in the moment, in the present with people.
Thanks. I always try and work on that.
Yeah. Oh, that was it?
Yeah, I get it.
That
That's
was excellent. That was really good. I like
cute.
that.
That's
yeah.
my main one. And then if we were going to talk about goals, I'm like excited for when the van is finished and being able to say I've driven all around Australia. That's a pretty cool thing to do. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like another goal.
I think that's really good.
Okay, good. That's my
You've done
goals.
good. That's good. Because mine was more dot point goals.
Okay, what's your goals? I'm sure we'll share these goals as
Yeah,
well.
so mine, of course, is to get the van done because I think we know that's something that can happen.
Yes.
So, quick update on the van. We are going in tomorrow. Jess is coming in.
Oh my gosh, I haven't even shared the biggest news yet.
What?
A couple of days ago, my parents randomly were like, by the way, we just watched the Christmas vlog. Miss you guys so much. In 2 days, we're going to be flying to Perth and we're going to stay with you guys for 10 days. Is that okay? Also, we've already bought the ticket, so it's kind of has to be okay. And they're here right now.
They're in the other room.
They're in the other room. And what reminded me is because we're heading down to the van tomorrow and me, Mo and Granddaddo are babysitting and we're going to be going out all day working on the van. It's going to be the longest I've been away from Hunter,
Yeah.
which I think is good. Like, I can't always be there with her, you know?
Yeah.
It's good.
You need to miss her.
So they've just surprised us. They have been tearing our house apart because Dad comes in and goes, oh, you know what? I should change that light for you. I'm like, okay, I should paint that wall for you. Oh, have you seen that you have this issue with your house? I can fix it. I'm like, okay. So they've been going to Bunnings. We've been doing renovations on the house together. For Christmas, my favourite puzzles are was-jig puzzles. Very cool puzzles. Mum's already finished both of them. We did them together in 3 days.
Oh my god.
So it's been huge family time. So that's been amazing. And it was pretty good because seeing as my goal for 2021 is to do more family time. Cleo said she thought I dropped off the face of the earth. But it's just I haven't been on my phone because I've been with my parents the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's been
It's
nice.
been good. So,
Sorry, what were you talking about? Tomorrow,
Just
we're working
take
on the
over.
van.
Tomorrow we're working on the van. And I think, because if you watch the channel, you can see the van has had a few kind of like, we put out a van video and then we don't put out a van video. So just wanted to apologize because it just takes really slow at the beginning. Because there was things like planning the build and then there was getting a seat put in, getting a window put in, which was like you have to book appointments with other people.
Plus, there was Christmas and New Year's everything was closed.
And we flew to Queensland for 2 weeks. I think that's why it was hicked up a bit. But officially tomorrow it is van build
Every
until
day.
it's done.
We're working on it every day except the weekend. It's going to be hectic.
Exhausted.
I said, Steve, I was like, if one of your goals is to lose weight at the beginning of the year, we're going to lose weight because we are going to be so busy. I was like, to Steve, I was like, we need to remember to pack lunches because you know when you get so in the zone, you forget to eat. And I feel like that's going to happen soon.
We haven't had like a 9 to 5 job, if you know what I mean, before flying the nest.
But
Like
even
6
though,
years.
when we're traveling, we get so busy.
Yeah.
But then in 2020, because we weren't traveling as much, we kind of got used to the whole, being at home, chilling out and stuff.
You're doing the arm movements of we got a bit pudgier. That's what I was going
Get a
with.
little bit bigger. No. So we're going to be van building it up.
Yes.
Good goal, Steve.
Good goal. So complete the van and, of course, travel around Australia. Because I think with travel, so many people want to leave and be like, no, it's not exciting to say you've traveled your own backyard. You instead want to be like, I went to Paris. I went to Bali. So it's kind of cool that we would have seen all of Australia, I hope, by the time. Like, I want to make sure we tick off every little thing. And how cool is it going to be our little daughter before her first birthday?
She would have seen a lot of Australia.
Yeah.
Probably more than me.
So that'd be pretty cool. And then also just like a little small goal is I want to expand out our Fly in the Nest Academy to like some more courses and things. So that's my little goals for the year. And also take Hunter on an international trip
And you think, I hope that could happen next year.
this year.
this year.
Oh, I'm used to saying next year.
Yeah, it's
2021, baby.
It's right here. Madam.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously the boring goals, eat healthy, do all that.
You eat pretty healthy.
You already eat healthy.
If your goal is eat healthy and lose weight, I don't believe it.
No, just like have a good routine. Try and get up at 5:30 in the morning, not 8 a.m.
Oh, I can help you with that.
I know you guys.
Just
push
get
me.
a baby because she gets us up at 5 a.m. in the morning.
I want to get routine. Get up at 5.
I
enjoy
love
the
it, though.
mornings. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Oh my
so
gosh,
nice.
come to the dark side. Come
Or the
be a
light
morning
side.
person. Exactly. Come to the
I
light
know.
side. You know what will help waking up at 5 p.m. Waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Go to bed at 7 p.m. I go to bed when Hunter goes to bed.
Yeah.
Wake up when Hunter wakes up, and it's great.
The 12 hours sleeps in.
Yeah.
I know. I need to try to do that. Go to bed at maybe 9. Maybe 9.
Yeah, 9 could work.
Or at least just settle down, like turn the lights off
Yeah.
and maybe
Wind
put a show
down.
and watch
Yeah.
TikToks. That's what we do.
You can put your phone on like wind down like mode and like takes you off social media.
Oh, that's good.
Or your calls are
Fancy.
gone. Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Oh, do
It's
that.
off.
9
Yeah.
p.m. Don't contact Cleo, please. She's trying to sleep.
If you're trying to call me, I'm not.
Call her at
Jess has
5
been
a.m.
on
Wake
Do
her
Not
up.
Disturb for 5 days.
I've been on Do Not Disturb for like
You
3
actually
years.
have. I've been like trying to be like, hello, are you there?
You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh my gosh, I like see all these messages from Cleo. I'm like, oh, I'm the worst.
Nah, it's all
Oh.
good. And probably be with family more.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh,
Get to travel with you guys more.
Good thing we're leaving you for a van.
Yeah, but
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna visit. I'm gonna visit one.
You can drive past, like behind us.
No, no, I can fly somewhere, get some
Exactly.
accommodation or something. Yeah, I don't know.
we will think
Maybe.
of things because I was
Yeah.
thinking of a good goal that we should all have this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's something that we all. Oh no, you've done it.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
What a
I just
disgusted
thought about
face
that.
you gave
But you
Cleo.
can do it
You
again.
just
I'll do it
done
again.
I just thought we've never seen snow in Australia before because surprise,
I'm
surprise.
doing it. Yes, that was like my favorite. That was like my ultimate favorite trip. Probably
Was this
beats every. No, I'm
for
kidding.
school?
Yes, it was for schools.
Can we just talk about privilege of being the third baby? I didn't get any school trips to anything. I'm just
I
putting
was
that
at
there.
coffee club when I was 14 years old, working my way. I think I paid for
Learning
some
from
of it.
Jessie. Yeah. Showing you the ropes of work hard, play hard.
Exactly.
Did you pay for that trip?
I think no.
No, I don't think you did. Linda's
Daddy.
going to watch this and go,
Daddy, I want to go skiing.
If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, in year 12, Cleo got to go on a ski trip
Yeah.
to I don't even know where it snows in Australia.
Melbourne.
Yeah, but where? Some mountains.
Oh.
It's, I think because,
That's
I'm
good.
sorry, in the West Coast, I don't know what the mountains are called
Yeah.
in that area.
No.
But in Victoria, it snows. I think it's Victoria where it snows. I
Yeah.
sound so dumb right now.
Falls Creek?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, this winter, seeing as we're stuck in Australia, why don't we go and check out the snow?
Please.
Baby Hunter learning to ski.
Yeah. Oh,
She probably
that'd be
can't,
That would
but
be
it would be so cute.
Oh, maybe she would.
She'd be like
a bit too
1 year
small.
old.
Maybe I think they
We'll
started.
throw
two.
her in the snow and she can experience snow. Like
She can go
imagine
on a little
Snow angel.
Oh,
We can
snow
do-
angel,
and
make
she
a
can be in the middle.
snowman.
Oh, yes.
Imagine. So I think that is definitely, we need to meet somewhere around there
Yeah.
and we will go on a little snow
Oh.
trip and you can teach me how to ski
Yeah.
because you're amazing at skiing and I still pizza it down the
It's
mountains.
been years though. It's been Dubai years. So
You'll remember.
we'll see.
Wow.
I think it'll come back to you, I think.
Yeah. I
You
think so.
did pretty good in Japan skiing. by
Remember
the
that
way.
time I fell on my face, like completely on my face?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was in Japan.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this actually brings us to we kind of had two topics. Oh, were you
Wait,
done?
wait.
Oh, are you still going?
Clear with the
I'm
goals.
so sorry.
Family, I don't know, and be more independent. I think. I
Yes,
already said
good
that.
Independent, so good. That's the best thing you can ever learn.
Independent
Yeah.
woman.
I
Independent
learned
woman.
that straight after film school, and it's the best thing. Do not rely on anybody.
yeah.
Rely on yourself, and I can attest to that. That's
Yeah.
the best thing you can learn.
Yeah.
And
Except for
Stephen's
you.
good at that.
Except for you, Bubs. If I don't rely on you to feed me, I would probably be dead.
This is true. Like,
Noodles. He'd be eating noodles and Weet-Bix.
he would
And
be.
frozen mince pies from Christmas.
When he was working on that 2020 recap video, I knocked on his door and I was like, I've toasted you a hot cross bun
No, I
to
think
keep
she
you
walked
going.
in and knocked you. She was like, "Have you eaten?"
Yeah, and he was like, no. I'm like, well, here's a hot cross bun. Let me go make you some lunch.
I think it's when I get into the work mode,
Yeah.
you
Zone.
almost get like into a, what do they call it? when you just
like a trance.
A trance, that's the word, and you're just in it, and
I
you
wish
just
I
forget
could
to
get
eat.
into that. Yeah.
Stephen is the hardest worker I've ever met.
I just don't get it. I don't know how you do it. You're
Well,
like, I'm not used to going to 9 to 5. You're used to going to 6 a.m. to
This is
11
true.
p.m.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. There's a question upcoming about that,
Okay.
which we can chat about. Which is the... Wait, are you done?
Yeah, I'm
so
done.
sorry. Okay, so sorry.
Oh, Cleo.
So this is kind of the second topic of the show. We kind of have a double episode, so I hope you guys enjoy the longer episode. So the second one was you guys sent in a bunch of questions. It's kind of like a Q&A episode, asking questions we've never really answered.
And I haven't seen any of these questions yet.
You did get some questions, or do you want me to go through mine first?
I have one question.
Do you want to do your one question?
My phone's in the other room.
Your phone, is it on Instagram, or did you screenshot it?
As you can tell, Stephen is the very organised. And then he's like, where's the questions? I'm like, I was busy puzzling with mum.
So
Sounds so Australian just then.
puzzling with my-
I can't do it.
I was heading to Bunnings with Dad getting a snag on that.
Where's the fly squatter?
Fair dinkum.
fly squatter? Are they working on leg day?
Do you mean fly swatter? All right, Stephen, question us up.
Okay, so apologise to
I should have
whoever
just made
sent
up a question.
your lovely question into Jessica. Maybe just send it to me next time. flyinthenest.tv/podcast. And also we kind of did a 2 questions. 1, you could ask us a question, and 2, what your ambition is for the year. So we are going to jump straight in. Oh, wow, they start a bit negative. Is that okay?
Okay.
Morgan said, what was your lowest point of your lives?
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
Wow.
2021 is starting deep.
I know. I should have probably maybe changed them around.
What was the lowest point of your life?
I know when. I would say it was, and we're just jumping in, so apologise for this. I would say it was our 3rd year of Flying the Nest.
Yeah, I remember this.
We were with your parents, actually. We were in
We
Cairns.
were.
And it's not where we were or who we were with. It is just the time, and you always remember that. And I think we had been doing Flying the Nest for 3 years, and I think we really wanted to make it our career, our job. And up until that point, we were flat broke, negative money. And it was almost looking at that point where it's like, do we give up Flying the Nest?
Yeah.
Do we go back and become what we were doing before? And it was just so low because we were so ready. We'd worked on this so hard.
I think as well at that point, we'd been spending just say 15 hours days every single day for 3 years straight working on Flying the Nest. And it still felt like we couldn't afford to keep going. And you'd put all this effort and all this work and you're like, I don't know if we can afford to keep creating videos.
Yes, because of course we decided to pick a travel channel. Would have been nice if we just did a cooking channel, which costs quite a bit to run. We do spend quite a lot of money on our travels. So at that point, we were just like, do we quit Flying the Nest or do we not? But I always had the motto of, because I think I read it somewhere, most businesses fail within the first 3 years. And we were just still in our first, in our year, our 3rd year. And I said, Jess, let's just make it towards the end of the year 3.
Yeah, let's just keep going eating those 2-minute noodles.
And we did it, and thankfully things picked up after that. So
Yeah.
that went from the lowest straight to very high. We had
just
some
felt
very-
you want to, once you've worked on something for so hard, you just want to feel that success. And you're like, oh my gosh, people really believe in our work. And it wasn't even about the money. It's that a tourism board actually wanted us to come out and create content for them, because that's all we ever wanted, was just to be able to travel and create videos for people and to inspire other people to travel. And we couldn't afford to do it anymore. Yeah. And so we're so thankful that it actually worked out in the end.
Yeah. Was there a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, it's actually going to work? Do you remember that moment or not really?
What do you think, Steve?
What was
I suppose it would be later in that year. I think we started
It might have
focusing...
been when we hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Because it's so annoying with YouTube how it is such a numbers game. And then once you hit that number, I think a lot of other people started noticing us, going, oh, who's this channel? They've got quite a little bit of a following. Yeah. And then more and more people started to find us, which also meant that more and more companies found us, and then we could start creating content for them. And then that really, I think, was the moment when we hit that milestone.
changed. Yeah, I think it was around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Morgan's ambition.
Wait, and what about Cleo's? What do you know your
yeah.
lowest point?
Oh.
It's a bit deep.
I don't know. Mine's, nah, I don't know.
No, it's a bit of a personal
Yeah,
question,
it's
to
a
be
personal
honest.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to answer it. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Morgan's ambition is to buy a house and be happy.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Sorry, this next one is a negative one as well. What's your biggest travel regret?
Travel regret. Have you thought about this?
Yeah, a little bit. I think in our first few years, we didn't travel properly. I feel
This
like
is true.
we just, we went to so many countries, which
Like we went to France and ate Subway.
yes.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Like,
we
we
never-
didn't really experience the cultures properly. And I think at the beginning as well, you're traveling along, but you wanted to keep your home comforts.
Yeah.
And then we realized we really should get out of our shell and try that unique food from that destination. And then once you do, you're like, oh, wow, like this is so cool experiencing food I'd never would have tried before, or being a bit nervous to go speak to the locals because maybe there was like a language barrier. And then going, you know what, let's just go over and try and make a conversation and learn about their life because it's so different.
I think our mind was just not in that mindset. Like, we weren't thinking of that. We were just
No.
thinking of comfort, and we weren't,
And I think we were thinking that we were on vacation, which
Yeah.
is a different way of traveling. When you're on vacation, you just want those comforts. You just want to enjoy, have cocktails on the beach. And I
Yeah.
think we were traveling with that mindset, not traveling
like,
to
oh, you want to
travel.
immerse in the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't traveling for that.
No, and then the moment we did, we really appreciated it. And I think that's why we started going back to quite a few countries. Because I'm like, oh, we really didn't properly experience that. Let's go back. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Turkey was my real, like, oh my God, I want to experience the culture.
Yeah.
That
when
was
Yes.
my first one.
going
It's
out of
like
your comfort
such a
zone.
culture-rich country, and it's way different to Australia.
Yeah.
So you can be like, no, I'm not. You're not in a country that's
Yeah.
so similar to Australia that you fall into those comforts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lucas's ambition is to travel around as many countries in my home country as possible, which is from the UK. So I hope you can do that in 2021. Okay. So, Fran, let's just maybe not do a negative one.
Yeah, come on. Let's have a nice one.
So, Fran, but I wanted to do questions
No,
we've
that's
never
good.
answered
A bit
before.
deeper. We're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Francisco said, this one is about the Fly in the Nest expeditions. Have you ever considered the Azores Islands? It's a Portuguese archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic. It looks like if Hawaii and Iceland had a baby.
Oh, wow.
This place sounds amazing. It's gorgeous, super safe and cheap. Great for hiking.
Wow.
A good question about the expeditions because we've been having a lot of discussions about them because we have a lot of ideas. But you always have that little nervous of like, when do we announce it? How is the world going? But I think now that the vaccines are coming out, it's getting more, because the reason we chose this year, not next year anymore, we're having an expedition in New Zealand and that's in November. And I feel like that's like a high likelihood it will happen, seeing as they're talking about opening the borders maybe in March. Mm-hmm. But it's that whole, but when do we do the ones that are really outside our little bubble?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have some really, really cool
For
ideas.
2022, yeah.
Yeah, for 2022, we have such cool ideas. And we're just waiting, I think, for more vaccines to come out, seeing how that goes. And then we'll be announcing some really cool trips. We haven't even told you about them yet, Cleo.
Yeah, we have a little
Because this is recent. We have to tell you.
Yeah. Maybe I can come along.
That would be so good.
No, it's okay.
Was
like-
it on your goal list? Or was
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Last
yeah.
one is maybe to come along this year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
If
Francisco didn't have an ambition, so I'm giving him one for 2021.
Okay, so Francisco, your ambition is...
Join a Fly in the Nest expedition.
Good one.
Now, Anna said, Happy New Year to my favorite YouTube bloggers ever. My question is, when did you become vegetarian? Did you
Ooh.
begin it together or who started it first?
I feel like a lot of people will kind of be surprised at this because we never talk about it on the videos because I never want to tell people how they should eat. I don't know. It's just like you should decide what you want to eat and I don't know. That's how I feel. And so back in 2014, I stopped eating meat altogether, not even seafood. And then I think it was only like a month later you decided to do it.
Yeah, I think it was about a month later.
And I guess it just stuck where we weren't eating any meat. And then I think it was our third year of flying the nest, I decided to start bringing back seafood into my diet. And I remember the first place that I had fish again, we were in the Maldives and a local caught a fish. So I just felt like it was like, a fresh fish caught from the ocean. It wasn't like from a fish farm or anything like that. And they cooked it on a barbecue. And instead of coals, they'd heated up coconuts. and the
So
coconuts
cool.
were the coals.
Wow.
And they cooked this fresh fish, and I had that, and I was like, cool. I think if I go to places where I feel like it's like freshly caught fish, I'll eat that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been
Yeah, so we're pescatarian now. 6 years since having
Other
like
meat.
beef and chicken and all that. Yeah.
and
It's been ages. I can't remember the last time you guys
we
had
actually
meat.
ate meat. I know,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's another thing. Is a lot of people are like, oh, is it hard to eat vegetarian while you're traveling? And I don't think so anymore. I feel like there's a lot of options now.
It's a good time to be vegetarian, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would have been very hard like 15, 20 years ago. I think a lot more people are open to
or have
idea.
vegetarian options now.
Yeah. And Anna said, ambition is to travel somewhere and watch your vlogs and to listen to your podcast. That's very cute. Thanks, Anna.
That's a very sweet ambition.
Paulina said, your most memorable meal / food experience from your travels. So I think I really loved when we did the Indian street food through Delhi. So it was through East Delhi. So it was more of the modernized food. So it was definitely local, but it was like local.
I think
doing
they
a
put
big
like a
twist.
spin on it.
Yes.
Where it was like westernized or something.
So you could get not dumplings,
Like
samosas.
Oh, okay.
But inside the samosa was like chocolate or buttered chicken inside a samosa, and it's really
Apple
unique.
pie inside
So
a
a
samosa.
samosa, and they were so good.
But I think the whole experience was so cool because we were on the back of motorbikes and Delhi.
Is chaos
It's
driving?
literally the
Is it?
entire.
Yes.
Claire, it's the entire population. Every Australian
Is in one city.
That's
So
how many
imagine the
people are there.
roads. There's like 12 lane roads
Yeah.
full of bikes and cars.
Wow,
and oh my
that's
gosh, it was crazy.
crazy.
And then we're like zooming through on the
I
back
think
of
he
these
even
bikes.
said on the GoPro to me, like, sorry, Dad. or
yeah, I
something.
said, sorry, Dad, because I knew you'd watch this and go, what is Jess doing?
But it was such a cool experience because sometimes he'll just pull up and it's just this dude just cooking a form of pizza just on this makeshift, like, barbecue.
That's
It's very cool.
The one that actually comes to me is, speaking of expeditions, is when we did our first one in Vietnam. We were with a group of 10 of us, and we went on the back of scooters, Vespas, and they took us to different restaurants, and it was quite good because someone else was driving the Vespa, of course, but you're going through the streets of Vietnam, which already feels so cool. But so we would have a meal and would have a drink at each one. So at the end, everyone was really nervous at the beginning. But I was like, come on, guys, like, come out of your comfort zone. And by the end, they were like, that was the best ever. Everyone was like pretty tipsy, eating all this amazing food. So I feel like it's like a really cool experience, a unique experience with food.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think people get nervous around street food, but it's the best thing. If you just book a tour, because you know they're going to take you to the good places, do it.
Yeah, I
and
like
you'll
it
love
doing it like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any food places that you really liked?
I really liked it when we were in Santorini.
Oh my god!
And we were at the Airbnb, and that little family cooked us a vegetarian, like those
Lasaka, I think it was.
Inside the capsicums.
Mexican. I just loved it. I've never had something like that, and I was like in love.
And we didn't expect her, so we got like a little knock on the door, and the person who owned the villa we were staying in was like, "I've just cooked a big homemade meal.
us.
Do you want some?" Yes.
And she grew
so lovely.
it there. I think
It was
She had
so
a little
nice.
farm. Yeah,
I forgot about that. That's it. It's a good one.
I loved it. Yeah.
When you were little, what was your dream occupation?
Oh, I had a lot.
Yeah. What are
Well,
some
I
of
used to
yours?
want to be an interior designer and decorate inside houses.
No wonder our house looks so nice.
Yeah.
And then what else? I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to do a lot of things. A lot
you
of
wanted
people.
to be is a pediatrician? The baby
Yeah,
nurse? Yep.
pediatrician. So I wanted to work with kids. Actually, it's a fun fact. When I graduated high school, I actually started off by doing medical science, and I was going to do that. And then I think with my personality, I realized, especially working with children, I'm not very good at handling death.
Yeah.
And I knew that that was going to be a part of the job. Like, I know that there would have been highs of seeing a child get better, but I wasn't ready for the lows.
Yeah.
And then that's when I decided, okay, I really
You're a
still want to...
very emotional person.
Yes, I think it would have affected my mental state. So I did that for a bit, and then I decided, no, I don't think I could do that, but I still want to work with kids. So then that's when I went and did teaching, and then I was a teacher before we started Flying the Nest.
Oh.
Claire, what did you want to be when you were younger?
I think I wanted to be a horse rider.
That came to mind when you were thinking that. I was like, someone
Plastic
with
Saddle
horses.
Club.
Yeah. and then I was so jealous because our
Hello,
cousin is a
world.
horse
Yes,
rider.
he
And I was like,
is.
oh, he stole my ambition. No, I'm kidding. No. That's pretty much it. I don't think I had anything else.
Do you remember what mine was?
You want to be an actor.
Yes!
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Stephen's dad would always call Stephen Jack Sparrow.
And then your mum will call me Jack Sparrett.
Jack Sparrett.
Yeah, I wanted to be an actor for so long and then realised I couldn't act. But I suppose we kind of
Yeah, you kind of
act
do.
right now.
Well, at least you get to talk to cameras and stuff.
Yeah,
You
so I
can't-
kind of live in the dream.
it's even better because you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have
true.
to, learn lines and stuff.
Yeah, true. So Danielle said, if we weren't doing YouTube full time, what would you see yourself doing career wise? It would be teaching.
Teaching.
Yeah, and I studied marketing, so I would probably be in a marketing job somewhere.
I could still picture, because Stephen is one of those people that I can never picture him working for someone else. Because I feel like you would have started some sort of marketing thing where you could have still worked for yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like after working for myself for 6 years, I almost feel unemployable because I just don't think I'd be a good employee going to work for somebody else.
But it's new. If you'd never started flying the nest, there would have been some sort of business
Yeah,
idea that you would have come up with. It's such your personality.
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Emmy, said, are you also getting a full bathroom in your van?
A lot of people actually asked us this because on Instagram I shared kind of my idea of what Cooper the van was going to look like, and I didn't have a bathroom in there. And for us, I think being in it, because of course we're going to mainly be using it in Australia. Whenever you drive in Australia, there are always so many toilets at all the campsites. There's always like drop toilets everywhere. And for us, I feel like it's easier if we just didn't have a toilet, but we did want a shower. So we've decided, because we don't have as much room in the van because of Hunter's car seat, we're actually going to do an outdoor shower. So there's going to be an area where we can still rinse off when we're not at a campsite if we're like free camping. But of course, when we go to a campsite, then there'll be a bathroom and showers all there.
I think the times we've done tiny home, like living on a van, the showers are very annoying because you go through water so quickly. Like even the caravan up to Exmouth, I think we could have one shower each and it was gone. And then you had to fill
It would be
it
nice
up.
to have a shower though.
It would be nice, but I think the cons outweigh.
Like I'd prefer more room. Like we're those type of people. We don't really need the shower or the toilet. We can live without it to have more space. And also, to be honest, we've done vanning like 4 times and only one time we had the shower and toilet. Every other time we didn't have it and it didn't matter. We didn't mind not having it. So we've experienced it.
Yeah, and we're going to have our little outdoor shower anyway once we go from the beach.
Yeah, we've found this like little bucket that you can like store flat packed. So we can open up the bucket if Hunter needs a wash and we have camped not at a campsite, so that we can fill that up with water and she can still have a little bath.
Yeah, and Emma's ambition is to help my friend through the school year, and I totally forgot Danielle.
That's so kind of you.
From before, her ambition was to officially start saving / designing my tiny house build. This has been an idea for a while, but I want to make it a reality. Watching you guys start the van build has inspired me to stop waiting and start doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Imagine
really
building
cool,
a tiny
Danielle.
home.
Are those little ones on wheels or?
Or it could just be like a tiny home out.
Yeah.
A lot of people will build like a little tiny home and then
Okay.
it's all sustainable. So it's
I think I
completely off
watched
the
a
grid.
show on Netflix on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's what.
Big Living Tiny.
Yeah,
that's cool, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that was awesome. Thank you for
Speaking
sending
of
those
that,
in.
imagine in the future if we got really into after the van build, and how cool would it be if we built our own like tiny home?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like,
Do
and then we
that.
could rent it out on Airbnb. That would be so cool.
It would be so
Yeah.
much fun.
Hey, if COVID's still a thing and we're trying to look at things to do,
That's something to do.
is something
glad
to do.
we only know how to build IKEA furniture.
hey, we're going to learn from the van, and then we next step tiny
True.
home.
We're going to learn so much from the van. Now, Jess said, did you send a question in? No, it's a different Jess.
Maybe.
Jess said, you always travel and spend time with Stephen's family. Will you ever take Jess's family on a big trip with you?
So one of our plans for 2020 was to take my mum and dad to Japan, and that unfortunately fell through because they both turned 60 last year, and I thought it would be really special to be able to take them to Japan. So
That's
hopefully,
been postponed?
next time, like once the borders open, we'll head to Japan with them. But we have actually gone on a few trips with them, but this was before flying the nest.
Yes, so Jess's parents are retired. My parents are still working, so that's why my parents have a little bit more financial to be able to go on trips. That's why you guys probably see my parents on more holidays. So that's why we really wanted to surprise and take Jess's parents on a nice little trip and like kind of treat them to a nice little Japan trip. So when COVID kind of is over, we're definitely that offer's still on the table. And then Jess's ambition was to buy a house. I hope that goes through with you. That'll be exciting. Raka said, how do you avoid losing motivation to fulfill your ambition?
Oh, Stephen, that's for you to answer.
Yeah.
Because he's the motivation king. And if I'm losing motivation, I've got the motivation king to motivate me.
And then I got you two to motivate me.
So I suppose right now I'm definitely following my ambition. So I suppose with your question, to follow that through in terms of my point of view, I can do a full crazy day, 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night, or 8, 9, 10 p.m. at night, and still go to bed and still feel like I didn't do any work. I think I just have this crazy kind of work motivation in my head. And I think the thing is that I'd hate to, in the future, just say all this whole fly in the nest thing kind of shambles, falls to pieces, and I'd hate to look back and be like, if you just didn't watch that Netflix show that time, or if you didn't like play that game at that particular time, it would still be working today. So I think that's over my head all the time. So I think just having that, this could all fall apart at any time in the back of my head. And I suppose I've never really talked about this, but that is kind of just sitting there all the time. And that just motivates me to do more. There's always something. It's kind of like having, if you studied at school, even if you don't have an assignment, you know there's an exam to do. So you always have this constant, like, there's something to do. And I think definitely the goal for 2021 is to be satisfied with the work I've done.
I always tell Stephen this.
I think having Hunter, and I apologize, Jess, that, I didn't realize this earlier, but I think once we had our baby, I'm like, no, you need to spend more quality time. Like, we're successful in our own right, so just got to, like, take a moment to just enjoy the time. So that's definitely something I want to go towards this year.
Yeah, I always think that with you. It's like you get so wrapped up in the work then that you forget to, like, also enjoy downtime. And it's okay to have a little relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got you to do that.
Yeah, I'm always like, come on,
It's time to relax, Steve.
let's go out, have some brunch.
Relaxing queen.
I am the Hunter and I love hanging out.
Mom, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Raka's ambition, I would like to buy the largest Baby Yoda plushie for Cleo.
Please, I saw one at the bowling place and it was hanging, and I was like, I want it. And someone was like, that's not Baby Yoda. It was Baby Yoda. It was just enlarged Baby Yoda.
But his personal ambition was to watch Fly in the Nest video from 1 all the way out. He's up to the Austria series.
Oh, wow.
And to continue his video editing and 3D animation skills, and also would like to visit Orlando, Disney and Universal Studios. Happy New Year and wish you all the best.
Oh,
Yeah, that was really cool.
that was nice.
Jai said, and this one's directed at Jess, what was the cheesiest date Stephen has ever taken you on?
Oh, and Stephen is full of cheese.
He is.
Let me think.
So, I don't know. What, in terms of cheese, I had even had to think about this.
I remember one cool date was when, I don't remember.
Cool date.
Oh, let me think. Cheesy.
Do you think when I proposed to you, is that cheesy with the dinner
That's
on the
not
beach?
a date.
That's not. Oh, that's a proposal, I
That
suppose.
was a proposal.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of any cheesy dates.
You've done a lot of cheesy things, but it's not cheesy. It's more just like, Stephen is definitely a romantic. Like when I used to work at a cafe, if I usually had to work on Valentine's Day, so Stephen would always deliver like 12 roses to me. That could be cheesy. Yeah, he used to, every Valentine's Day he would do that.
I think Steve was more cheesy back in the day. So you guys,
do you remember?
You were pretty cheesy, Steve, as well. You both were cheesy, and
We're just cheesy people.
Yeah,
Double cheese sandwiches.
Because I was always in the back, and you'd be like, "Oh, you tell me your little schemes and what you would give, what you guys would." Yeah, you would give all this like present, and it's all thought out, and I was like, "Yeah."
Jai's ambition is to get a job and save up for my gap year with my best mate when we graduate. I'm still so glad that your guys' ambitions, like no matter what's going on in the world, is still to go out and travel. Like I think everyone still has that hope. Like, we're still traveling.
Like we know one day, and you know what is actually something really cool about not being able to travel is it's really going to make us appreciate when we can go traveling again. Like you're going to go to a country and go, oh my gosh, like it took us so long to get to this point, and you're going to really appreciate it.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's true.
When you jump in on that flight and then like buckle your seatbelt,
it's going to feel surreal.
It will feel so surreal.
And it's kind of cool as well because I feel like the whole world's going to come together to celebrate.
All right,
because it's the first time in a long time where something's really affected everyone. So everyone can really like empathize.
And it's definitely the first time that something's affected everyone with social media. So everyone's in it together.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure
That's so
during
true.
like, you know, Spanish flu, polio, all these massive world events, people were just in their bubble. Like they didn't know what was going around
You can
them.
really hear how it is affecting each person.
Yeah. Ali said, what is our biggest fight as a couple we've ever had? And I couldn't even think of one.
Oh,
juicy.
The big fight. I don't know.
It's just Jess getting in Steve's way.
Yeah, Stephen hates when someone's in his way. I can't ever think like we've never yelled at each other.
Yeah.
And like if we
We've
are
never like sworn at each other negatively before.
no, usually because if we're ever annoyed at each other, we like give each other space and then we come back and talk.
Yeah, like sometimes if I annoy Jess, she'll be like, "Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about it right now. We can do it
Well,
later."
there was that time you broke up with me. That could be our biggest fight.
Very true, very true. Check out our first podcast if you didn't see that. Now, this was interesting. How long did it actually take to conceive Hunter? Because there were a lot of like pregnancy questions that came in.
Okay. It took us 3 months.
3 months, yeah. And it was a long 3 months because whenever you try for kids, you don't know if you can have kids. Like
I know. I feel like a lot of people will ask you what your biggest fear is. And my biggest fear is heights and not being able to fall pregnant. Like it was always on the back of my mind, like, oh, imagine. I think because, I don't know, I feel like I was just born to be a mum. Like, I don't know, when I became a mum, I just felt like it was my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it. And I was always so worried, like imagine, I know there's other ways that we could have done it, but it was always in the back of my head. So I'm so glad that it happened.
Yeah, so thankful. Because there's a lot of
I'm
people
sure there's
out there.
a lot of people out there that would feel like that little feeling
I feel
of
like that.
Yeah, you just never know. And you're like,
just don't
oh,
know.
it would be,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I'm sure because when you try for kids,
Yeah.
I'm sure that will also be at the back of your head as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
already. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
lie, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the final question, I don't know why it's the final question, it just happens to be on there.
Okay.
But why did we decide to join our names together, Parry Valentine?
Oh, good question. Well, I feel like when we when he proposed and then we were talking about it, wasn't it you that mentioned it at the beginning?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like our families, like the Parry side, me and Cleo, and the Jess and the Valentine side, are completely different families. Like I definitely feel, like in good, bad ways, everything. And I've just felt like if Jess was just taking on the identity of my family, it wasn't doing it any justice. And I definitely think like, there's this tradition where the female should take on the name. And I was just like, no, like we are two people that have grown up together and we're a unit. We should be a unit and our family should be a unit, like Hunter and, our kids should be a unit. So we should do it as Parry Valentine. And I think, I think that's why, because we're two people and...
This is why I married you, Stephen.
That's the cheesiest
Very
thing.
sweet.
It's very cheesy.
Did I explain it right?
You did explain it very nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why. Shall we read some reviews?
Okay, review time.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for all your support on the podcast. It really does help us if you leave us some reviews. I think it's just the iTunes podcast store that you can actually leave like reviews. So if you're listening to this on your iPhone, it'd be awesome. I think you can just do a quick little thing and we'll read it out. Thank you so much. Or if you leave like a lovely comment on our Stories from Flying the Nest YouTube channel, we can read them out. So Coco AF said, "This can't be true. You guys literally fulfilled my wish list. Being a fan of your videos for almost a year now, you took me to so many amazing places in the world through your countless devotion on other platforms, and now you show me a whole new world by having your own podcast."
Aw.
Thank you. And then Emily on the YouTube channel said, "I love both your YouTube channel and now this podcast edition. My kiddos have started watching with me." That's really cute. "And my girls adore little Hunter.
Aww.
My New Year's resolution is to get to take our 4 kids on adventures while we live here in Alaska."
Oh, wow. In Alaska.
Yeah, it looks like she's there for military purposes. So maybe she's part of the army. Top of the list is dog sledding, whale watching, and taking a glacier tour.
I feel like you could do all that in Alaska.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
amazing. What a cool place to live.
We did Alaska.
I never knew someone from Alaska would listen to this. You know?
Yeah,
that's really
so
cool.
true.
I remember when we were driving in Alaska and there was the bullet holes in the
Yes,
sign.
someone had just wanted to play around with their gun and just shot bullet holes in a street sign, and we're like, what the? Yeah, because you don't see that in Australia.
Yeah.
But that kind of comes towards the end of the podcast. What is next week's podcast going to be?
So I was thinking, my mum and dad are here. They've travelled. They've got stories. So why not have my parents on the podcast?
Now, they actually leave on Sunday. So we record the podcast on a Monday. Audio comes out on a Tuesday because we filmed it it's 9 o'clock at night. I definitely am not editing this right now. So that's why the audio comes out on a Tuesday, and then it takes me a bit longer to do the video. So that comes out as a live premiere on YouTube. But because Jess's parents leave on Sunday, we're thinking of recording this podcast on Thursday. So you guys will have a day or two to send questions out.
So start sending those question-ins to me, Ma, and Granddaddo.
Yes, questions about what the relationship with Jess is like, growing up with her, also traveling. I think you guys have done some trips with them. They've done some, not solo trips, but just mom and dad trips as well.
They got some funny stories to share.
Yeah, they've told me while they've been here, and I've had a good giggle. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. This is the first episode of 2020, and this is
2021.
2021. And this is episode 7. I can't believe we've made it this far. Yeah. We'll be at episode 10 very soon, and hopefully a lot more over the year. Thanks so much for listening and watching, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This is when everyone sings along. The little podcast by Stephen and Jess. Stories by Fly in the Nest. Little podcast by Stephen and Jess. Stories.
I love when someone gets overconfident and gets too close, and then we're like, ooh, I'll sing back
And it's always high pitched.